Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with Google Cloud. My name is Aspen Sherrill, and I am a cloud security architect at Google. Today, we're discussing VPC Service Controls, or VPCSE in short, our solution for preventing data exfiltration from managed services in Google Cloud. Specifically, we'll be discussing some best practices for day 2 operations, by which I mean managing and maintaining your VPCSE perimeters once you've got them configured and deployed in your environment. For context, the content I'm covering here assumes you already know the basics of how VPCSE perimeters work. So you've put your projects in your perimeter, and you've restricted the services you want VPCSE to protect, and you've allowed listed the flows as needed. So your perimeter is up and running. What now? How do you manage and maintain it once it's in a steady state? First, if you haven't already, you should be aggregating your logs to get a bird's eye view of your VPCSE violations. Because by default, VPCSE is configured at the org level, but enforced at the project level at this point in time, logs are surfaced at the individual project level. So you want to create a log sync to aggregate your logs. You can export your logs to your SIM or use our new dashboard, but regardless of how you do it, it will be imperative to get those logs aggregated into a human-readable manner. We have another video on auditing logs, so make sure to watch that if you're new to VPCSE. Next up, if you haven't done it already, it's time to automate your perimeter. Terraform is the most popular method, and it's what we recommend, but even scripts full of G-Cloud commands with stacks of YAML files are better than managing perimeters by hand. Playing around in the console is great for POCs and getting to know the product, but once you hit production, you will want to automate your VPCSE config into code. Another option you might consider is scripting out the automatic addition of new projects to your VPCSE perimeter. You don't want to get everything configured and deployed and audited and get into enforce mode, and then some developer spins up a rogue unperimeterized project that could potentially be compromised and used to exfil data. Another concern for potential exfiltration is unperimeterized services. But Aspen, you say, we already audited all the services and everything is protected. Our job is done. Well, yes, that's good for that singular point in time. But Google is frequently releasing new managed services, sometimes weekly, even multiple times a week. That means you can have your perimeter in a steady state, and the next thing you know, there's a new service that you didn't know about that could potentially be used for data exfil. So, unless you like reading all of our release notes just for fun, you'll probably want to automate checking for new services too. You can do that with the Supported Services API. There are 2 methods on this API. List is the one you'll use the most. It gives you the full list of supported services and their current VPCSE compliance status, so whether they are beta or GA. You can then automate querying this API periodically and updating the list of restricted services in your perimeter. The second method on this API is describe, which gives you details about specific services, like in my example here for cloud storage. This method can be especially useful when you're auditing individual services. The last day 2 advice I'll give is to define policies and procedures for VPCSE provisioning if you haven't already. By that I mean, you should already have policies and ticketing systems in place for the procurement of things like projects and identities and network controls, etc., etc. Replicate those processes for VPCSE so developers have a defined procedure to follow when a legitimate flow has to cross your organizational boundary via a managed service. All right, to recap, simplifying ongoing VPCSE maintenance and management means making things easier for yourself as an administrator. Aggregation and automation are the names of the game, and doing both can make operationalizing your VPCSE parameters much easier in the long run. Likewise, defining processes for VPCSE, just like you already have for other services, will be key to making VPCSE just another part of doing business in cloud. To learn more about VPCSE, watch our other videos or visit our product page.